Welcome, beloved Sangha, to the Jewel Ornament of Liberation series, a commentary with the Venerable Khenpo Tenzin. We'll begin today's commentaries on page 4 and 5 in the Yellow Garchen Buddhist Institute prayer book with opening prayers. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit of generosity and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all beings. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they not be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Tangwe Doje Shachere Soro and Shinjamata Doja Bonjamba Surja Lumbo Tabra Jibaga Shache Jerbajan Gushan Zor Dorjen Janjan Delonaro Dama Bamala Juja Gambo Ba Pamotra Bajavan Rogongba Gajola Manam Jerda Jonje Dana Zera Damje do Lama Lobu Loye Juzo Zon La Zon Yon Den Jamzon Alaban Tendre Don Jinder Bergele Zer Dazo Lo Juzon Rover Zinjel of the Zor Jualam Dun Rover Zinjel of the Zor Lan Trova Silver Zinjel of the Zor Trova Juzon Javar Zinjel of the Zor Gang Dinjen River Jong Gaba me ba je ba me ba da me ba wa me ba ro me ba ta de do me do je me ba ne je je den ba zo ba san je ma nan je dan ba de la jan zar do den je za ba la ma je je ko zon do je zin lan da da ge ju lan ba de da ge den ba da sun je je don la bo je ro ba zin je la do zo. Okay, many Tashdele, dear Dharma friends. Today, if you have this Ornament text book, page number 206. Okay, so then today we are on our session is perfection of yes, perfection of meditative concentration. Some I explained already, so if anger is predominant in you, its remedy is to meditate on loving kindness as follows. In general, there are three aspects of loving kindness, as mentioned in an earlier chapter, which are we generate loving kindness for mother sentient beings. This is number one. Number two is we generate loving kindness towards mother sentient beings because usually these outer substantials and inner substantials, or this outer environment and inner mother sentient beings, they all impermanent, and they have different sufferings and different obstacles, but mother sentient beings don't know that. So for that reasons, mother sentient beings are as our mother or our child. So we should generate loving kindness and compassion. And then third is a non-duality. Actually, we should generate loving kindness through non-duality. Non-duality means there is no mother sentient beings, there is no I, there is no loving kindness. So, which means they all inherently they all great non-dual, or they this in the form of Dharma, everything is a great emptiness. So we recognize that, and then we generate compassion or loving kindness. This is how we it says the aspects of three aspects of loving kindness as mentioned in earlier chapter, means that these three, but one, the aspect developing in this context is loving kindness focused on sentient beings. Yeah. So actually, we are practicing. We practice loving kindness is we say for the benefit of other beings, and also we should motivate, or we should think, or I'm practicing, I'm doing retreat, I'm practicing ritual practices, I'm reciting mantras, but all of them for the sake of welfare mother sentient beings. We should think like that, and we should say that both. But the real benefit means it benefits to us. When we think other beings, then at that time our practice benefits us. If we think this is for us, for ourselves, then this practice has less benefit. So first consider someone naturally dear to you, and start thinking about making that person happy and well cared for. So sometimes practice bodhicitta or loving kindness is pretty difficult, but perhaps this is very easy to practice. This is a very easy practicing, because if we don't know too many things, it's fun. We just think that may my friend be happy or accomplish all the his or her goals or something like that, and then or we rejoice when they have good things or good possessions, good health, and knowledge, and at that time we rejoice. This is also practicing of bodhicitta. But then this is a very good way to say that the person happy and well cared for. So okay, this should generate corresponding feelings of loving kindness in you for that person. That feeling of love is then extended toward others with whom you are familiar. So this is a great method. So how to extend your loving kindness? Suddenly I say, generate bodhicitta all mother thinking beings. You try, of course you try, but there is no feeling, because number one, you don't know all mother thinking beings. Especially if you are not so much familiar in the Dharma, then we say all mother thinking beings are in the samsara. Samsara means the realm of suffering. So you cannot image like that. So it's very difficult to generate loving kindness towards all mother thinking beings. So that's where you start from your friend, to your friend, or your partner, or your child, or your pet, or and so forth. So in front of you or next of you, some have problems, or sometimes your friend or your relatives, and they have a good job, good health, good wealth. At that time you should be happy. So when you happy, for example, if your friend have a good job and you are happy, you are happy that, so this is bodhicitta. So what is bodhicitta? We always talk about bodhicitta, but what is the real bodhicitta? Real bodhicitta is when your friend is healthy. Your friend is body and mind both healthy. At that time you feel happy. So that is bodhicitta. And for example, if your parents some far away, you call them and you say, how are you? And they say, we are fine, and you are happy. So this is bodhicitta. So this bodhicitta, yes, this is bodhicitta. So this bodhicitta is a small bodhicitta, but it is bodhicitta. So this bodhicitta you should extend it. Extend it like a vaccine moon. So then what happens in your mind is the your personal suffering and problems slowly reduce. When bodhicitta or loving kindness increases, your personal suffering it decreases. So that's how bodhicitta benefit to us. Then that feeling of love is then extended toward others with whom you are familiar. It is next expanded to embrace ordinary people, then to people within your vicinity, then to those living in your town, and finally to include everyone living in all 10 directions. So sometimes what happens is, this is actually the loving kindness is antidote of angry emotion. So if you love, even this love is ordinary love. If you love someone, you cannot see their faults. You love someone. If you are hatred, you are unhappy with someone, those small problems it's appear to us. So that's where the angry emotion always focus others' mistakes, and loving kindness always focus towards others' good qualities. So that's where in your mind, if others good qualities appears in the mirror of your mind, then your mind is happy. If others faults appears in the mirror of your mind, then your mind is unhappy. That's the way when angry emotion arises, we feel suffering, or we feel suffering. Yeah. So angry emotion and loving kindness are opposite. Opposite. Third, if ignorance is predominant in you, its remedy is to meditate on dependent origination as follows. It says in the Rice Shoot Sutara, monks, whoever understands this rice shoot understands dependent origination. Whoever understands dependent origination understands the nature of phenomena. Whoever understands phenomena understands Buddhahood. So understands Buddhahood means one become Buddha. When we understand Buddha, we become Buddha. So meditation means like that. Meditation, it means we practice shamatha, and then our mind becomes stability. It's very rest, relax, like a candlelight without wind. And then next we apply vipassana. We call it clarity. So then eventually union the vipassana and shamatha. At that time we become enlightened. So the ignorance is actually drollness. Drollness, and ignorance is the cause of samsara. So then the main problem is ignorance, over ignorance. If we do not have ignorance, then we do not have grasping, and we do not have jealousy and angry emotion and so forth, attachment and so forth. So anyhow, when you have if ignorance is predominant in you, then you should apply to understand the interdependence. So interdependence, actually, in the rest of here it's mentioned more clear, but the principal thing is we have to know how we cyclic exist in this samsara. So from we are cycling exist in this samsara for example, first ignorance, and then one by one, eventually birth and death. Or aging and death. Yeah. So today I will tell you this part first. This is important to know. So these 12 links, 12 links of dependent origination. Yeah. So actually we have a tanka which illustrates the 12 links of dependent origination. So I will introduce through this way. You can see in the tanka or in Tibet the temples, near the temples door they draw that. So this since Buddha was India, it happened that it happened. So in this how to say, in this tanka there is a drawing of a blind person, which represents ignorance. If we the blind people cannot see beautiful things and colorful things and big or small forms, even some are since they were young they became blind people, so they cannot see their parents' lovely face. Yeah, it's very yeah. So likewise, for example, some child since they were young, they were blind, so they can't see their parents' lovely face. Likewise, right now we are in this samsara because we have wisdom eyes, but it blinded because we have ignorance. That's where we cannot see marvelous nature or this the genuine or intrinsic awareness of our the nature state of mind. We cannot see. So now we understand or we see that one child is a blind child, then he or she can not see their mom or their father, and then we feel really compassion towards them. Likewise, Buddhas know that we are blinded by ignorance. We cannot understand Buddha nature. That's where Buddha compassionately taught us a method. So we are follow Buddha's path instructions, and then we can. Some children their eyes can't see, then they go to the hospital, and then doctors try to fix it, and some can fixed, so they can see. Yeah, later they can see. Likewise, this now Buddha taught us many methods. If we try to understand this method through our practice, then we will able to understand our natural state of mind. So that's where number one, ignorance, the blind person, which represents ignorance. This is the first. This is the cause of samsara. Then second, there is a depiction of a person making a vase, so which represents formation. Then next third, there is a drawing of a monkey, a tree, which represents consciousness. So during our consciousness or meditation, we try to rest that monkey on that tree. So that's where we are developing our meditation or increasing our meditation. So the monkey, what does does the monkey do is monkey does not stay one branch or one place, goes up, down, and jump. Likewise, our consciousness is in the heart chakra, but it goes up on the crown chakra, goes down navel and secret chakras and so forth, and then it goes through the windows of the eyes and ears, nose, and so forth. And then it pick up many problems. And then give message to the mind. So that's where the mind has many suffering. Okay. Then third, fourth is there is a person in a board which represent name and formation. So name and formation. At that time, name is the other four aggregates we call name, and then formation is everybody knows. So then that next fifth is there is a depiction of an empty house with many windows, which represents six sins base. So this we have actually 9 holes in our body. Generally we say 9 holes. So during the poor practice, and we help that other beings' consciousness goes through the central channel, through the crown chakra. So that means this is a red path. So anyhow, this the house with house, empty house, but there are many windows. These are represents over these eyes and nose and so forth. Eyes, nose, ears, and so forth. And then sixth, there is a depiction of 2 people kissing, which represent contact. And then seventh, there is a depiction of a person with an arrow in their eye, which represents feeling. Then number 8, there is a person drinking chang or alcohol, which represents craving. So this craving means first drink alcohol a little bit, and then slowly without alcohol they cannot stay, cannot live, so they cannot practice forbearance. So that's where craving is like that. And number 8 is that. And then number 9, there is a person picking an apple from a tree, which represents grasping. So grasping means after craving some thing, and then after craving something, and then we try to adopt these good things. We start to adopt and reject. Yeah. So and then number 10, there is a pregnant woman, which represents becoming. Becoming means actually the because they accumulated karma to rebirth next life. Again, they will rebirth or rebirth in the samsara. So that's where they accumulated karmas. Anyhow, the becoming means one has to accumulate karma for next life. Then 11, there is a depiction of women giving birth, which represents birth. Yeah. And then 12, there are depictions of old men holding a cane, and some carrying a dead body. These represent aging and death. So it actually gives aging and death. It's give us like an order, but through the impermanence, there is no order. There is no order that first you become old and then you will die. That's generally what we say, but we're not sure that many young people die before old people die. So, but another way, there is another way to understand, which is we can the old aging. Old, it does not mean over the 50. Generally, we say that old means since mother gave us birth and we start to become old. Old means is close towards next life. Yeah. So these 12 illustrations are important if you focus there. Then how we are exist in samsara. Then there are two ways of representing dependent origination. The dependent origination of the forward order pertaining to origination of samsara, and dependent origination of the reverse order pertaining to nirvana. So how are we occurring in this samsara? Occurring is this 12 origination dependent or this the dependent origination of the forward order. We have ignorance, and then we have formations, then we have consciousness, and then one by one, so we exist in the samsara through this way. And then other way, if we purifies ignorance, so exactly right now we try to reverse these 12 links of origination. So that's where we say we have a precious human life. So how should we do is now we are recite mantras or chantings, and we are teaching, we are listening, we are meditating. For what? We try to remove all ignorance. That's where, because ignorance is cause of samsara. If we purify the cause of samsara, then what happened? Then the formation, does not occur. If then without formation, what happens is with this consciousness is not exist. So consciousness is not existing means, as Milarepa says, I cannot see consciousness, but I see wisdom. So consciousness, the essence of consciousness is wisdom. So essence of consciousness is wisdom, and if we purify ignorance, we understand the essence of our consciousness. When we recognize the essence of consciousness, then we liberate from samsara. The first in turn is twofold. The dependent origination of inner phenomena and the dependent origination of outer phenomena. This former is discussed in terms of two aspects. The dependent origination of inner phenomena in terms of their cause, and the dependent origination of inner phenomena in terms of their conditions. With respect to the first, the Buddha stated, monks, because these exist, this will come to be. So what Buddha taught here is because this exists means ignorance. Ignorance exists, this will come to be means formation. And then Buddha said, this having arising, this arises. Grasping arising, we have grasping, and then afflictive emotions and other the obscurations arise. That is how it is. Conditioned by ignorance, there will be formations, and so forth, up to birth, and through that condition, there will be aging and death, sorrow and lamentations, pain, mental stress, and disturbances. That is how this great cluster of nothing but misery is produced. Exactly here mentioned. Sorrow, limitations, pain, mental stress, and disturbances. So these sufferings are in our mind. And these sufferings occur from cause and conditions. Cause and conditions. Who cultivated those cause and conditions? We did. When we did them is we did in the past lives, or past years, or past months, or past weeks, or past hours. So then the result will occur to us. So if we are going to eliminate or purify them, then we are going to purify our ignorance. So our main target is ignorance. So this ignorance, we cannot easily explode it. Yeah, explode. But we utilize the arrow of wisdom, then we can purify it. This code relates to the desire realm in terms of dimension of existence, and to a womb birth in terms of mode of birth. So these 12 links of links of dependent origination is it talking about this desire, especially human being, how we exist in this. Especially there are four types of births. Among them, birth in terms of womb birth, in terms of mode of birth. Yeah. So here first, what is referred to as ignorance, which is confused about the nature of what is to be known, arises. Stirred by this, one comes to form the contaminated actions, such as those that are virtuous and non-virtuous. This is what is referred to as conditioned by ignorance. Formations come to be. The mind that is imbued by the seed of that karma is what is being referred to in the phrase. Conditioned by karma, consciousness comes to be. Due to the power of karma, one's mind becomes distorted and joins up with the procreative elements in the mother's womb to become the various stages of embryo and then fetus. Fetus or fetus? Fetus. Thank you. This is what is referred to as conditioned by consciousness. Name and form come to be. Through the dependent origination, through the development of this name and form, the various sense faculties of sight, smell, and so forth become complete. This is what is known as conditioned by name and form. The sixth sense base come to be. When these various sense faculties, such as sight and so on, meet up with their corresponding objective fields through the appropriate consciousness, the meeting of the three causes in actual experience of the object, this is known as conditioned by the sixth sense base contact come to be. Just as the contact arises, feeling in the sense of pleasant, unpleasant, or indifferent experience arises. This is known as conditioned by contact. Feeling comes to be. Taking pleasure in that feeling, craving and intensely craving for it, is known as conditioned by feeling. Craving comes to be. On the base of such a clinging, and with the thought, may I never be separated from this. Attachment in the form of not wanting to let go, and in the form of longing for it arises. This is known as conditioned by craving. Grasping comes to be. This is Nanda, okay? Due to this striving, actions are performed physically, verbally, or mentally that give rise to rebirth. This is known as conditioned by grasping. Becoming comes to be whatever existence composed of the five aggregates is generated by those actions as known as conditioned by becoming. Birth comes to be through having been born. The development and maturity of the aggregates is aging, and their destruction is death. Thus, conditioned by birth will be aging, and there will be aging and death. At death, when you manifestly grasp onto things due to ignorance and are thoroughly assailed within by force such as attachment, this is sorrow. Limitations are the verbal outcry emerging from such sorrow. Pain means the unpleasant sensations experienced by the five groups of consciousness. Five groups of consciousness: the eyes, ears, and for the mental distress. Distress is the pain in the mind resulting from various sorts of mental activity. The various other forms of distress are the disturbances in a term relating to the secondary afflictions. Secondary afflictions it means destroy, like stupor or something like that. Yeah. The above factors of dependent origination should be understood as falling into three distinct say again. Oh, distincted. I don't think so. That's distinct. Just kidding. Thank you. Groups: ignorance, craving, and grasping are afflictions. Formations and becoming are karma, and the other seven factors, consciousness, and so forth, are suffering. Okay. In brief, we understand how we rebirth in the samsara through 12 links of 12 links of dependent origination. And then what should we do is we are going to practice. We are going to practice through the method of 12 links of dependent origination. For instance, Milarepa said that I was afraid of the death. So that's where I ran away in the mountain. And then I meditated there about the death. Eventually, I recognize the deathless, that Milarepa said. So, which means these 5 aggregates are actually we rent it from elements. So they will go back or transform into elements, into the elements. But consciousness, our consciousness is deathless. But I say our consciousness is deathless. Perhaps we have question: if consciousness is deathless, then why we try to understand deathless? The essence of consciousness is like an empty space. So that's where Milarepa also recognized, and many wonderful enlightened or how to say this practitioners, they recognized that mind is birthless and deathless. So when we recognize that, then we can eliminate all of these sufferings. Now I mentioned there, I read numbers of suffering, yeah, as well as limitations or something, pain and so forth. Even their names are non-existing. And also these how to say 12 links of dependent origination are there are 3 groups. Group of suffering, group of karma, group of afflictive emotions. So in brief, we are in this samsara, we exist in this samsara uncomfortably. Which things make us uncomfortable? Because karma cause, negative karma cause, and afflictive emotions, and then afflictive emotions supports to emotions support to karma cause and effect. Karma cause, and then from this karma cause occur result, which is suffering. So now we have ignorance. If we have ignorance, then always we cultivate these 12 links of dependent origination. So then we have continually we are suffering. But if we purify the principal cause of these 12 links of dependent origination, then these sufferings are non-existing. Yeah. The verse on the essence of dependent origination says the 12 specific links should be understood in terms of 3 groups. the links of dependent origination taught by the sage. Sage means Buddha's name, okay, in this case. By the sage are encompassed by three categories: affliction, karma, and suffering. The first, eighth, ninth are afflictions. The second and 10th are karma, while the remaining 7 are suffering. So these are the 12 links of origination. So, for example, there ignorance and consciousness, and then ignorance, formation, consciousness. Yeah. First 8 afflictions, karma, and suffering. First 8, I say. First ignorance, and 8 is the craving. Then 9th is grasping. They are afflictive emotions. Yeah. Afflictions. Then formation, the second, the formation, and then 10th is becoming. So these two are karma. And then other remnants, the remainder 7 are the suffering or results. Actually, later it will tells us clearly, but yeah, here it says, furthermore, to illustrate them by means of analogy, ignorance, I see, this is different. In short, these there are three afflictions and 2 karma, and then 7 suffering. So we are exist in the samsara through this 12 links dependent of origination. And then furthermore, to illustrate them by means of analogy, ignorance is like the one who sows a seed. Karma is like the field. Consciousness like the seed itself. Craving is like a moisture. Name and a form like a shoot. And the remaining links are like the branches and leaves of the plant. So we see it give our example through a plant. Yeah, plant need a seed, field, and then moisture, and then it has to shoot, and then leaves and branches. Likewise, over one person's life is related 12 links of dependent of origination. Now, if ignorance did not occur, formation too would not manifest. Likewise, if birth did not happen, then aging and death could not occur. However, it is because of the presence of ignorance that formations and so forth do actually come into being. Therefore, because of the existence of birth, aging and death will actually happen. In this process, however, it is not the case. The ignorance consciously thinks, I will make formations truly manifest. Nor do the formations have the thought, we were made to be manifested by and created by ignorance. Likewise, birth does not think, I will make aging and death truly happen, nor do aging and death consider themselves actually brought into being by birth. So, but why then are they occurred in our life? Because we have to understand what is karma. Karma in Tibetan Dharma words, le. Le means action. Action. So there are positive karma and negative karma. So we cultivate virtues. This action is good karma. We cultivate 10 non-virtues. This action is negative karma. So if we act good action, this result will, or this fruition is good, pleasant, happiness. If we, so right now we are in the samsara. This samsara, actually we say samsara is made by our mind. Our mind means, made by our mind. Our mind is covered by afflictive emotions, like a water covered by ice, or precious jewels covered by some very dirty clothes, impure clothes. So then we don't try to understand the natural state of mind, but we follow this thought. So if mind is like an ocean, thoughts are like ocean's waves. So if we swim in the ocean, the part of without ocean's waves, then we have no problem. We can swim there. But we come to the ocean's area of ocean's waves, and then if we don't have good skills, it is very dangerous. Likewise, because at that moment we lost our freedom. Likewise, when thoughts arises in the mind, then we lost our freedom. For example, angry emotion arises from mind. What we see is mistakes. What we hear is unpleasant sound. What we experience is painful experience. And then from our action becomes the same like that. And also like a jealousy, if we act through jealousy, if we follow jealousy, then we cannot accept others' good qualities. Other people have good qualities, Because of that, we are unhappy. So which means we follow the waves of thoughts, oceans, waves of ocean. So the ocean is waves. The nature of natural ocean is waves or relaxing. Relaxing, yeah. Ocean's waves occur only because of some wind below there, or usually there's some, for example, inside has some big fish or something like that, dolphin or something, and then it comes. This ocean's wave comes. But generally, ocean is a very relaxed, very forbearance, patient. In the ocean, we throw lots of garbage. The ocean is always balanced. So most of the time, we are trying to keep balance. If we have a balance, we have good health. And mentally, if we are too much, we aren't too much follow hope and fear or doubt, then our mind is equanimity. So when we practice, of course, in the mundane way, more activities is very much related unbalanced situation. Perhaps I need every good things, and other beings do not need any things. That if I'm okay, it's okay. This is actually mundane activity, the mundane conception. But in the Dharma way too, sometimes it's happened if we don't keep balance. Usually we practice Dharma, but sometimes because of our ignorance, we don't want to criticize each others, but still we have ignorance. So we are practicing Dharma, but always we have a big hope or big doubt or big these two things are like a big oceans waves. So they carry us away in the dangerous place. So that's where try to keep balance, especially if we mentally keep a balance. It's good effect or good support to our body. So that's where equanimity in the four immeasurable prayers, last part it says immeasurable. If you have a very great loving kindness, but still your mind is balanced or not, we cannot say. If you have a great compassion, still your mind is very balanced or not, we are not sure. But in this case, equanimity means Buddha becomes enlightened, means equanimity. Very balanced. Perfect balance. Buddha reached on the stage of perfect balance. That's where Buddha has no suffering. But of course, the way of our practice or mundane way, sometimes we lost our mindfulness. Everything is possible, but we should learn from these faults and improve. Because if we have too much hope and too much doubt, then life is not relaxing. It's like a water filled half of a bottle, and then we carry that bottle. This water always make noise or some shake. Yeah. And then our mind becomes like a flame candle light in the wind. So we always try to practice equanimity, balance, and then we are relaxed. Whether other side says lots of good things or other side says lots of bad things, we are okay always. So principal meditation is equanimity. Because right now we named equanimity, but this equanimity increases, it becomes non-duality. It becomes non-duality. Another name is Dharmakaya. So we attain the stage of Dharmakaya. Yeah. So we do not want to judge others' mind, of course, but from ourselves, even myself, I try to improve, develop, increase. So you all, if you try that, I think we have really benefit. So we are practicing Dharma. We should take some benefit from Dharma practice. Don't think always for it, Dharma benefits is only for the next life. This is also a misunderstanding. This is not big misunderstanding, but this is a small misunderstanding. So what happened is some things, Dharma practice is only for the next life. But they are great practitioners. For the sake of next life, they do wonderful things. But some, what happened is, Dharma only benefits for next life. This life, Dharma doesn't benefit. That's where I can't do anything with this practice. So how should we do is, we have to understand, as this morning I mentioned, we generate loving kindness or bodhicitta for 1 minute to one person. Even that person is not your enemy or not your unknown person. This is your loved one, your boyfriend or girlfriend, or husband or wife, or your child or father or mother or grandparents. You image one and then you generate loving kindness. At that time you feel happy, pleasant, and then you keep that happiness. That's where Naropa's we call sister Nigama says, you keep wisdom, fire sparkling of wisdom. So fire sparkling is fire very small, but it can burn big trees. Likewise, this bodhicitta, small bodhicitta arises in our mind. We can do that. All the practitioners have a small bodhicitta. Even these cows and birds, they have also bodhicitta. If we ask them to improve your bodhicitta, it's quite difficult to say they do it, but they have bodhicitta. Perhaps they do it by themselves. We can't not say they can't do, but our human brothers and sisters, we should understand the value of a bodhicitta and beneficial bodhicitta then and especially we should experience. Sometimes we sometimes experience, but we don't know that we experienced that. For example, you love your loved one. At that moment, you are happy. You think, I love my loved one. But at that time, you feel pleasant. Your feeling is a pleasant happiness, but that you don't know. And then you don't. Another mistake is you don't give value of that happiness. So this happiness is a peerless happiness. So we all try to improve this way. Then anytime we receive really great benefits through Dharma. I mean, not thinking about next life, in this life. And then we improve our realizations. Oh, even Guru is in the book. Really? Is it in the Mahamudra, there mentioned 4 gurus. Among them, one is Sungata's guru of Buddha's teaching. Because that means all these teachings, I mean, these books, the books, we read book, and then we every chapters, every sentences becomes what? Become what? Path instructions. Path instruction, I mentioned through example. If I mention again, path instruction means it tells you how to escape from suffering. If there are lots of, your life has many curves, in other words, curves, many like zigzags, not straight, because if each and every steps related suffering, obstacles, problems. So that's why path instruction means if you follow path instructions, how to avoid, how to delete them, how to avoid from them, how to run away from them. So it mentioned, yeah. Then not only for benefit ourselves, we can benefit other beings through the Dharma practice. That's everybody know. So okay, then nevertheless, it is through the existence of ignorance that formations and so forth do become manifest realities and will occur, and it is likewise through the existence of birth that aging and death are made manifest and will happen. This is how to view inner dependent origination in terms of its cause. The dependent origination of inner phenomena is connected also with condition. This is because they are comprised of the 6 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, space, and consciousness. Here, the earth element is the body's frameness and its actual material existence. So usually through this way, perhaps we think, I also honestly before think, oh, this is only part of learning something, just informations. It's quite hard to bring into the mind. I don't mind right now I'm become great meditator or practitioners, but because of your kindness, so more think about this, what we can understand or what we can feel, whether this is right or wrong, it's your decision. But we say, because of earth elements, the body's frameness. But in other way, this body looks like it's different things just gathering together. This body looks like a really ant's house, or what is called ants. Ants, they collect many stones, the small stones without dirt, and collect together. So if we just kick that, it's very easily throw away. Or our body looks like a mini, what is called many birds comes together, flock of birds. If we throw something in there, every bird fly in different directions, fly away in different directions. Likewise, this 4 or five or these the elements comes together for temporarily. So ignorance belong it, honor it. My body. It says my body. Even it says I. But then eventually these elements just dissolve. During the Pardo teaching or prayers, it says, oh, the body dissolve into the earth, breathe dissolve into the air, blood dissolves into the water, warmness dissolve into the fire elements. That's all. Then we try to find, we cannot find anywhere, yeah? So that's where we are usually say minilis. If we are great these Vajrayana practitioners, at that time we should understand these five aggregates are five families. Some thought, oh, practice that five aggregates, visualize that five aggregates are the five family Buddhas, and in the Suttarayana says these five aggregates dissolve into the five elements. We think this is opposite. This is not opposite. They are not opposite. They help each others. For example, now we understand the 12 links of dependent origination. Through this way, we understand how our body established. Yeah? How we understand this body established, and then we practice and then we understand they are interdependence each others. Interdependence each others, and the essence of interdependent is emptiness. The essence of emptiness is wisdom. The essence of wisdom is luminosity. From luminosity, Yadam deities appear to us. That's where this Suttarayana practices support to Vajrayana. Otherwise, we think, oh, Suttarayana and Vajrayana opposite. The way of some method is Suttarayana say it's okay, Vajrayana say it's not okay. But this is also depends with the practitioners. It's not depends with the two kind of practitioners. Even one person. First, it's depend on your capacity of the mind. First, we say, okay, everything is non-duality. You cannot accept that. Which you cannot accept is not your fault. That means you cannot image everything, all the phenomena are non-duality. You cannot image. That's where we say, oh, these are, there's karma, cause and effect, and everything like that, and this explain. And then your understand develops, and then eventually say everything are non-duality. You make sense. You totally agree with that because your understanding increases. Yeah. Fire, wind, space, and consciousness. Here, the earth element is the body's frameness and its actual material existence. The water element is what holds the body together. The fire elements transmutes food, drink, and so forth. The wind elements moves the breath in and out. The nature of wind is movement. Yeah. The space element refers to the inner cavities of the body. The consciousness element is comprised of the five sins consciousness, eyes, ears, nose, and so forth, yeah, and the tainted mental consciousness. Without these conditions, a body cannot come into being. Furthermore, the presence of all six inner elements is universal and hence comprises everything. It is due to them that the body will have its actual manifest existence. In this process, the six elements do not think. I will establish the body's frameness, and so on, and neither does the body think I am generated by these specific conditions. Nevertheless, it is through these specific conditions that the body occurs in all the ways it does. So karma means like that. Each and every element does not think I'm going to build this body. If they think and they come to do that, it is not related to karma. So we all, our hope is same, since I think in this world, Mother Earth, in the billions of people, everybody is, I think, has one wish, same wish, that is happy, healthy. But everybody don't like suffering. But then this opposite occurs, the opposite situation. We like happiness, but we experience suffering. Yeah. So because of karma means that. But when we say that, everything is related to karma and karma is somewhere, this is a misunderstanding. So karma is our actions. So even right now I'm teaching here, if I teach sincerely, this result will be, this fruition is the cause of enlightenment. Other words is cause of enlightenment or Buddha. In the ordinary words is for happiness myself. Really? Yeah. If I motivate that for the sake of some kind of, I try to show my knowledge, or I mixed with self-pride, yeah, then the result occur. The result of, what is the result of pride? What is the result of jealousy? What is the result of grasping? All these results will occur. So that's where karma, we have to know, the Dharma practitioners, they say everything is related to karma. And then after, you don't ask, but you just think, karma is somewhere. So that's where you come to ask, where is this karma? Karma is on your action. Yeah. For example, you wear shoes, nice shoes, and then you walk on the dirty road. No problem. You wear shoes is action of karma. You have nice shoes is your merit. That's why we want merit through six perfections. Some say, I don't have nice shoes, so I can't go there. I like to go to the mountain, hike the mountains, the top of the mountains, but I don't have nice shoes, so I can't go, which means we have less merit, yeah, for example. You have nice shoes and you can go, and then you wear those shoes. So that means good karma and merits, they comes together. If you don't have shoes, and then you walk on this dirt road. What happened? You are pain, suffering. So it's maybe it's cause of a big problems. That's where karma is. We have to know karma is over action and always with us, no anywhere, because ignorance is also with us. So in the Dharma, we are talk a lot. Yeah, we talk a lot about Dharma. We have to know Dharmakaya is with us and ignorance is with us. That's why in the Kunda Zambo, it's a single ground, two paths and two fruitions. Single ground means Dhammadhatu, natural phenomena. And then ignorance, and then samsara, two fruition and two path means part of these afflictive emotions. Fruition is suffering, and part of the 10 virtues, then the fruitions are happiness, pleasant, and so forth. Okay, then the process. In this process, the six, this I read, yeah. In how many lives do these 12 links of dependent origination complete their cycles? Their cycle, in this respect, the 10 levels Sutara says, formation due to the condition of ignorance applies to what happened in past lives. The links from consciousness up to feeling apply to the present life. Craving through the becoming apply to the next life. Everything else emerges inexorably from that. So this is the different way, the different way to say it. I mean, this how many lives do the 12 links of dependent origination complete this cycle? This question, this answer, there are different answers, but all the answers are actually correct. But this lineage, Dugong lineage, I taught during the Buddha's single attention. So Lord Jigten Sunggu says this 12 links of our dependent origination complete in a moment. Yeah, but in this Gampoba here says also three made three groups. So I think this is not big deal. It's different way of saying, but there are little slightly different understandings. So the three groups are actually the ignorance, and then formation and consciousness is a kind of past, and then name and form, six since the base, and the contact, feeling. These four are like in this life, and then grasping, contact and grasping, they are related for the next life. But everything occurred in this life. But where is it related? Because ignorance, how are we become samsaric being? So that's we are where we becoming samsaric being. At that time we are going to think about past life. Yeah, since we were here since beginningless in this samsara, so it's how it is actually becoming. How did we become samsaric being? Is it's like the 1 year has 4 seasons. So if we divided only 2 seasons, winter and the summer. So during the summer time, we never imagine that the cold weather will occur. So then water has not frozen. In the water has not frozen. Yeah. And then winter, then the cold weather changed. So cold wind come there and then comes there, and then water become frozen. So likewise, the first winter occurs or first summer occurs. This is hard to answer, probably hard to answer. But first nirvana come or samsara come. Nirvana comes or samsara comes. If you ask me, I say first nirvana comes. First nirvana comes, but then we do not understand nirvana is nirvana. For that reasons, we follow ignorance. We do not understand means ignorance, yeah? So we do not understand, and then we improved this non-understanding. So then now we are in the samsara. But eventually samsara become nirvana. Nagarjuna says, samsara and nirvana, these two things are same. When you understand the essence of samsara, this is nirvana. This is very true. Very true. For example, you say my hand is one form, or flat or one form. If we do not analyze, yes, this is one. But then we analyze this, we separate the fingers, nails, and joints, and skin, and lens. So we separate each other's. Eventually, this hand becomes what? This becomes what? This hand becomes emptiness. So, now first we analyze. At that time, we have a perception. We have a dualistic thinking. So what happened is we establish emptiness. Oh, this is true. We close eyes. Yeah, we close eyes. Our eyes. Close our eyes, and then we imagine. We investigate. This is thumb. This is a finger, or this is an end finger, and then we separate. There is no hand. And then we open the eyes and look. There is a hand. And then if I slip on your face, it's pain or something like that. So that means still we have imprinted tendencies in our mind. So that's where if we more purifies these tendencies or imprinted, then eventually whether we close the eyes or not, after we focus this hand becomes completely emptiness. So at that moment we become like a Malarepa. I mean, we reach on the same stage of Malarepa. So Malarepa, he could flew through the mountain rocks. He don't want to go around of the mountain rocks. Yeah, he go and come back from directly through mountain rocks, which means he understood this great emptiness. So then, but then perhaps we think, oh, this is unimaginable, unfathomable. How can we do that? But then example is in front of us. You think one person is such a beautiful, and that person's enemy. How to say enemy? Yeah, enemy thinks, oh, that person is very, very, how to say, worse. So one person has a friend and enemy looking different too. So which one is right? So very difficult to judge it. So that means both related their minds. Yeah. So examples are always in front of us. We give many examples. Malarepa said that The essence of the mind has no examples, no metaphors, no words. But who do not recognize that, then everything's example of essence of nature state of mind. Milarepa said that if you read Milarepa's song. So that's where now we are almost understand the nature state of mind, but not complete. At that time, examples helps a lot. Dependent origination as the reverse order that pertains to nirvana refers to the following: through realizing the true nature, dharmata, of all phenomena to be emptiness, ignorance ceased, and through its cessation, all the other links through to aging and death will come to cease in their due order. So that's where we think 12 links are very bad things, because this is the path of samsara. If you one think, this is how should you go. 12 links are good thing because if you reverse, then it's a good thing. If you come forward, it's bad thing. You're right. You are right. So that's where main thing, ignorance ceased. You keep that in your mind. Ignorance ceased, then formation ceased, and then consciousness ceased, and then other thing, yeah, name and form, everything, and then no aging, then no death. If we make short form, birthless and deathless, but we make a little bit comes in very comes like in more details, then they all one by one we are going to purify. But there are very important thing today I'm talking here is if you have, what did it says, if your ignorance is more predominant in you, then its remedy is to meditate on its remedy is to meditate on dependent origination as follow. So that's the way. Oh, ignorance. What is the antidote of ignorance? We say wisdom. Yeah, it's grossly we said that. But then you are meditate. The practical Buddhas meditated this way. Only mind schools, they meditate through this way. And then, so shamatha means single-pointedly focus and then rest. Still there is imprinting of samsara. So we will occur another problems. So this in this case, more practice on the what is called 12 links, interdependent. But right now we are talking one part, okay? So you are more analyze. You should more analyze. So in psychologically, this meditation is very helpful. People has lots of kind of problem of dullness. People has two kind of problems. Somebody's mind is completely scattered. That's why we try to collect these scattered thoughts in the one place. This method is meditate on shamatha. Some mind are mentalities are very dullness. That's why we are close eyes gently but investigate. What is that? What is this? Oh, like this. You ask, you get answer. or impermanence. Why? Actually, during the four thoughts practice, we have to analytical meditation, yeah? So then your wisdom increase. For example, if our body should grow, what should we need? What should we want? Mother's milk, of course, and then water and food and some nutrition food and so forth. Likewise, if you are going to increase your wisdom, you want more analytes. But if your analyze is only becomes intellectual, it is not much benefit. So analyze, understand emptiness, and then practice more compassion, the loving kindness. So then it has a greater benefit. As it is said, by stopping ignorance, karmic formation is stopped. Up to by stopping birth, aging, and death, and sorrow and limitations, pain, mental stress, and disturbances are stopped. That is how this great cluster of nothing but misery will cease. If jealousy is dominant, sorry, I made mistake. The predominant, I read like this. It's a predominant, yeah, predominant in you. Meditate on the equality of yourself and others as a remedy as follows. Remedy means, of course, you or knows, but some are like me. Then remedy means antidote, okay, antidote of jealousy. So in this case, just as you wish happiness for yourself, so do other beings wish happiness for themselves. Just as you do not want suffering yourself, neither do other beings want to suffer. Thinking in such a way, cultivate the same care for others as you have for yourself. So there is an example. Demigods have many jealousy. That's what we say that, yeah. So how they jealousy, we learn through this way. Jealousy benefit to us or not. So demigods, there are some the wish fulfilling tree. They have a wish fulfilling tree. This tree grow up, but the tree is very tall. That tree is very tall and fruitful or some. It's amazing. But all the fruits, leaves, oxygens, every good things, generosity or give in the God realms. God realm. So gods and goddesses, they use these trees, fruits, and all the leaves, and they use that. So then demigods, gods are unhappy. That unhappy means jealousy. So that's where they always try to fight. So, but they did not get it back. Guide to the Bodhisattva way of life says, but demigods, also we don't think demigods are always 24/7 suffering. Not like that. Okay, it's here's a pretty dominant. They have more strong feeling of jealousy. Otherwise, if we compare human realm and desire realm and demigod's realm is more pleasant, more happy. They have more happiness than us, actually. Guide to the Bodhisattva way of life says, from the very outside, make efforts to meditate on the equality of self and others. Protect all beings as you protect yourself, since all are equal in wanting happiness and not suffering. If pride is predominant dominant in you,
The remedy is to meditate on substituting self for others as follows. Immature beings suffer in a samsara that they themselves have created through a motivation of caring for self alone. Buddhas, motivated by their care for others and acting solely for the welfare of others, having attained enlightenment, thus it says, immature beings act out of self-interest. Sages means in this case Buddha. Sages act for the good of others. Consider the difference between these two. Therefore, cast off self-grasping by understanding self-cherishing to be a fault. Treat others as yourself by understanding cherishing others to be a positive quality. The guide to the Bodhisattva way of life says, through understanding ego to be faulty and others to be in ocean of qualities. Cultivate our rejection of self-grasping and our commitment towards others. These verses, if you memorize it, it's very good. It's helpful. In our life is up and down. So life is up means then at that time it's very much possible this pride is like predominant or become more strong. So sometimes life is down, then we become helpless. We have lots of sorrow, suffering. So at that time, if you remember this verse, then it's really protect you. It helps you. And if your friends or relatives or close one have some struggles, problems, at that time you quote this verse. It's really blessing for because of Buddha and great Bodhisattvas words. These words come from their great compassion, immeasurable compassion, the loving kindness. So it will benefit. You greatly can help your friends and so forth. Okay. If all the afflictions are equally present in you, or if there is excessive discursive thought, the remedy is to train the breath-based meditations as follows. These are the 6 main aspects of practice, such as counting the breath, following after them, and so on, presented in the treasury of higher knowledge. In the future, if you have opportunity to learn this part, is very helpful. Especially this teaching is related meditation. It does not mention about the non-duality or emptiness so much, but it's mentioned lots of this shamatha part of meditation. So there are held to be 6. Counting means your count breath. So when you count breath, don't count many numbers. You count 7 times, 10 times. First, you count only breathe, exhale, count, and then inhale, and then count. It's gallant. Exhale and inhale. Count like this way in 7 times, 10 times. If you count more, it doesn't benefit you. Means your thoughts wanders different way. Just you count it. So that's where it's like you don't have any money, but you calculate 100 or thousands. Same like that. So it doesn't benefit only numbers for you. Doesn't benefit numbers. Do not benefit for you. So that's where count, and then number 1, number 2, following. Following means you just let you know. Actually, in this meditation word is acknowledge. So when you breathe out, you only focus the nostrils. Focus to your nostrils, and when breath goes from there, just acknowledge. But if still you would like to more improve, then there's we have different winds goes through our nostril, earth's wind, fire's wind, or water's wind, and they goes kind of a 12-inch, 16-inch. Until there, you can follow them, and then breathe in. So this is the second, following, and resting. So resting means on the breath. If you cannot rest with your breath, there's a method, this Om Ahom Vajra speech, and that's the Om, breathe in, and you literally hold it, your breath. So if you have some mental problem, something, some hold breath at the heart chakra, if you have that problem, do not worry. You hold your breath area of navel. Downside, 4 fingers downside of navel, there is a palace or kingdom of the inner ears. So you hold there for a little while. Only that time you just rest on this breath, and then breathe out. Don't worry, don't care. Breathe in, don't care. But then again, a little bit hold there. So this is how you do. But you can do both. When exhale, inhale, and keep a little bit your breath in the body. This is very good. Or if your meditation is improving, then you don't want to hold your breath there. You will be able to understand your breath remains a little bit for a little while in your body. Yeah, this is third, thinking. So thinking, breathe in, out, and then you just think. And then this is the fourth, and fifth is transformation. Transformation, actually, for example, there are many ways. If I talk only one part, this you breathe in and out. Birth and death is come from there. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, birth means like that. Breathe out, death means like that. When we will die, breathe out. Then we cannot breathe in. Usually this is a gross air, grossly breathe. But it's subtle breathe, just a different way to talk in the Pardo teachings and so forth. So then sixth, utterly purifying them. Yeah. So only through the breath, there are many ways of meditation practice. So we will talk more next week. Okay. Today the time is up here. So now we will dedicate our merit. Please arise Bodhicitta. Chancho senjo rainbow je ma je ba na je je ba nyam ba me ba ya ko ne kon de be var sho.
May Bodhicitta, the precious and supreme mind, arise in whom it has not yet arisen. Where it has arisen, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher.
Thank you so much. May you have a happy mind and long life, and may your Bodhicitta increasing like waxing moon. Thank you.